Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Strange and Exiles podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Toyorek. This is my co-host, Daniel Toyorek Sr.
Hello, everyone. God bless you all in the sweet name of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we got some new mics, so we're going to see how this goes.
Yeah, this is just so you guys can see. It's like a whole situation here. These are Rode mics, and it's like a rig.
Yeah.
So we're testing it out. We're just trying to see if this sounds better. Ultimately, the sound comes out good.
So for any reason the sound's off or different, it's probably why. It's probably the mics. But yeah.
Dude, just so you know, the Nation of Islam didn't give us any love.
No, I know. I saw.
You saw some of the comments? Man, just so y'all know, they called us Beavis and Butthead. Like, they literally called us Beavis and Butthead. Which, I'd be honest with you, I thought that was a compliment, but, you know. Might as well do it for him, right? You know?
I mean, we're not supposed to be getting any loves talking about these other religions.
No, actually, I'm pleasantly surprised to see that there is passion out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one guy that literally wrote like a whole book, like a whole thing. And I was like, that guy really loves his religion. God bless him. He's going to hell, but unless he repents and comes to the true gospel. But it's nice to see that people actually take time out of their day to comment on us.
Yeah.
We're the two dumbest guys ever, and they're just commenting. And all we're doing is just telling you what they believe. And then, maybe we laugh at it, but, we're not trying to be disrespectful. I'm being myself. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. So today we're going into the Hebrew Israelites.
Well, they like to be called Hebrew Israelites, but realistically, it's Black Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah.
Just these days, let's be inclusive and, but yeah, we're going to talk about the Black Hebrew Israelites. We're probably going to have to do this in 2 episodes only because I have fully immersed myself over the last several months on these guys. If you guys don't know who these people are, if you are at all into internet debates, at some point you must have seen religious debates. You must have seen a black guy with like his hair braided, and he's wearing like a crown. And you're like, you see the thumbnail, you're like, what's up with this character, And then his name is Captain Tazariak. And he's part of the Black Hebrew Israelites. And he's become kind of, not the spokesman, but the online guy that debates Christians and debates Muslims and all of that. So that's how I got into it. And then I started reading about it. And then I figured since we were doing kind of these Black power racist type of religions, with the NOI, now we'll cover this one. So that's basically what we're going to do. If I have to describe, just so you guys know, so you guys, the people that watch us, whatever, 3 of y'all, you guys kind of know about religion in general. If I had to describe the Black Hebrew Israelites, just on the nose, what their theology is, I would tell you, get an Orthodox Jew. This guy. No, he's white. Okay, a black one. Get an Orthodox Jew, put it into a pot, and then get a 7-day Adventist. Throw that in the pot, and then get the leader of the Black Panthers, and then put him in the pot, and then mix it up. Give it a good stir. That's where you end up with the Black Hebrew Israelites. Basically, that's what you get. You get the race thing of the Black Panther. You get the keeping the law and the Sabbath from the Orthodox Jew, but then you get the views of Jesus and of really the New Testament from the 7-day Adventists. So,
okay.
I mean, just to give you an idea of where they're at theologically.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this does not apply to every Black Hebrew Israelite, as we'll talk today, because just so you guys know, there is not one single Black Hebrew Israelite systematic theology book. And the reason why, it isn't like, for instance, like if you're a Baptist, you can either be part of the Northern Baptist or Southern Baptist Convention. If you're a Presbyterian, you could be part of the PBA, PBC. They have different branches. Some of them may be a little bit more liberal. Some of them are a little bit more conservative. But independent of that, you could still look up Presbyterianism and you'll see, this is what they believe. You can't find that with the Black Hebrew Israelites. Why? Because they don't have one sole, like, body commission. It is basically a guy opens up a church in Harlem, or we have one here in Miami Gardens, by the way. I don't know if you want to go visit on the Sabbath.
I saw in this document that there's one based in Miami.
Yeah. No, but we were watching a debate the other day where the guy that he left that one. Like, he lives in Miami, and he used to go to the Miami Gardens spot. So I don't know on Saturday if you want to go there.
The Nation of Yahweh.
The Nation of Yahweh. But yeah, so in other words, if you are a black Hebrew Israelite and you just open up a church, that's your deal. In other words, they don't have like an umbrella here. It's like it's all singular. Now, amongst these singular groups, there are some that are more notable, that are bigger, and we'll talk about those as we go on. But independent of that, all black Hebrew Israelites believe certain things in common, but generally the overall theology can change from group to group. So I just need to get you guys to understand that, because this is something very different. Every other religion we've ever talked about here has been a centralized religion. We started out with the Catholics, and then we went to the Mormons, and then we went to this, and then the Adventists, and then the Watchtower Society, and then we started covering all these other religions, Hinduism, Buddhism. All of those have theology, thoughts, very concrete. This is gonna, and even last week with the NOI, the last couple of weeks, all right, they believe that Yaqub invented us. He did it over a period of 600 years. He eventually got them white enough, and then that guy, that first white guy, deceived Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and then thus the fall. Adam and Eve were beautiful black people, but they were deceived by the serpent, which is the white man. Okay, but even though if you want to believe that or not, I mean, if you do believe that, God help you. But even that has a centralized idea, theology behind it. This does not. Just so you guys know what we have up here in the front. Lately it's become a thing. Here we have a mensch on a shelf. You know how they have the elf on the shelf? Mensch on a bench. Mensch on a bench. Yeah, you know how like the elf on the shelf has become a thing? But for the Jews that celebrate Hanukkah, they have the mensch on a bench. The bench is over there on the couch. But the reason why we brought him out is because obviously the black Hebrew Israelites do not consider this guy a real Israelite. They consider this guy to be a usurper. He stole Israel from the black man.
Naturally.
So, yeah, of course. So then this guy is just there with his Hanukkah candle. How are you doing, Yosef? What are the latkes? What is the latkes? Give me latkes. I want latkes with applesauce. But this guy is a false. So, of course, since we like to keep it light here, we like to keep it fun. We don't like to take things too serious, except if we're talking about Jesus Christ. But if we're talking about other stuff, like these other weird people, we'll make fun of it. We'll have fun with it. Yeah. So we have, what are we going to call him? Avi? I seem like most old Jews are called Avi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a common name.
Okay.
Or we can call him Benjamin after Netanyahu. Benji?
Or Moshe.
Moshe. Oh,
Yeah,
Moshe.
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 Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's call him Moshe after my dad. Over here, we have, this has nothing to do with the black Hebrew Israelites. I'll be honest with you. It's just three women wearing like head scarves and they're singing. So I could only assume that it still has the price tag on it. Yeah, we got that from a thrift shop in Hialeah. Man, I'm telling you, that thrift shop was fire.
It's pretty cheap.
How much was it?
$4.
$4, and I think it was on 50% off. But so it's just three black women. We're walking around the thrift shop, and I saw her. I'm like, okay, this might be fun just to have, you know.
And they have a little Bible and stuff here. I think she's holding a cross.
She has a cross on her chest or something like that. So in other words, they're Christians, but they could be black Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, it's up for interpretation. Like, they could be just African Christians, or they could be the real Israelites, and Moshe over here has usurped them. I am the real Jew. No, we is. I'm the real Jew. No, we is the real Jews, the real Israelite. All right. Yeah. And then this right here in front of you is a chart that is used by some of the black Hebrew Israelite groups. We're going to get to this after. You could read it if you can. I don't know if you can even legibly see it, but we'll get to this later on.
Yeah. So now that was we got a little intro in. Before we actually get into the documents that we want to read, make sure to like and subscribe. Share the video with anyone that you see fit. Do this once a week, and we enjoy doing this, and we enjoy showing other people our beliefs, but also for the past few months, the beliefs of other religions.
Months, it's been more than the past few months, bro.
We did 10 episodes, and then now we're on 48.
Yeah. We did 10 theological episodes, and then we just jumped off a cliff after that.
Only a fifth of our episodes are based on our
actually
religion.
teachings. Yeah. If anybody watches us, they're gonna be like, "What do those guys believe in?" Because it just seems like every episode that we're just talking about somebody different. Else, you know? Yeah. So like and subscribe, please. Help out our channel. I'll go sit down now on my bench. Right.
Producer's dying with that one.
Yeah. The producer likes the Moshe.
I don't know what to do for that one.
Which one? Okay, wait. What, you want to do something? Okay, but what, you want me to redo the bit? I'm just strolling down here in Times Square. No. They don't go to Times Square. They hang out in Williamsburg. Peter Luger.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you want to go have steak at Peter Luger? Let's go. We're Saturday. It's the Shabbat, we're walking around.
There's not a good sound for this.
Huh?
There's not a good sound for this scenario.
I guess you could. I mean, just help the guy out. Oh, thank you, everybody. I take a bow. All right. Come on, let's get serious now. This is why we eat up time, and then we have to do 5 episodes instead of doing 1.
Okay. So this first document now is mostly going into the history of their movement, of the Hebrew Israelite movement. And this first bit is just to kind of, I guess it's what you were saying earlier. They incorporate their own interpretations of Christianity and Judaism, and their beliefs are influenced by Freemasonry and New Thought.
Yeah, because the first couple, just so you guys know, this religion really came out of the holiness movement. Mm-hmm. The 2 main founders of this religion were I think one was Pentecostal and the other one was Baptist, I think. It came out of the holiness movement, which was post Civil War, where there was a movement of becoming holy, becoming more sanctified, and then suddenly these guys get their visions. But it's just it is a reframing and a misinterpretation of a lot of the text of the Bible. It is the application of text of the Bible to a certain group of persons when the Bible never explained it to be those persons. But yeah, they do have Freemasonry because these first couple leaders were Freemasons as well. So a lot of the ritualistic aspect of it comes from the Freemasonry. And then of course they just blended a version of Christianity that fits their message. Yeah, of course. They took Judaism, but of course we'll talk about all that as we go on.
Mm-hmm. So this next bit is the actual history of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, and it was founded by 2 men that they did 2 different parts of the movement, Frank Cherry and William Saunders Crowdy. So maybe kind of explain it a little bit more for us.
Yeah. Frank Cherry was never enslaved. We have to be clear with this. He was never enslaved. However, William Crowdy was. He was enslaved as a slave during World War II and prior to that, obviously. But yeah, basically, if you want to look at the origins of this false religion, it goes back to Frank Cherry and William Saunders Crowdy. What happened was they both, and once again, just like we were talking in the kitchen earlier, this is a fake religion when somebody gets a vision or somebody gets a revelation. Every single religion that we have talked about for the last 6 months always started out with a dude that got a revelation, a dude that got some sort of something. It starts out with Joseph Smith. Now you got Mormonism. At Charles Taze Russell. Now you got the Jehovah's Witnesses. Ellen G. White. Now you got the Seventh-day Adventists. All of these people. And then of course we can keep going on and on. If you want to talk about the Pentecostals, you have in 1901. I never remember the guy's name, but he was filled with the Holy Ghost and not that Pentecostalism is bad. I'm not putting them down. They're just a subsect, I would say, of what we would say is proper Christianity. But they all start out with something. Muhammad received a revelation. Everybody with these revelations. Then you start all of these fake religions, just like this dude with the NOI that we talked about. They actually thought that this guy was the embodiment Allah here on earth, and then he suddenly disappears. But then we found out later on that he's on a spaceship waiting to come back. And then you have Elijah Muhammad is that guy's messenger. All right, sure. Then now you have this guy, Frank Cherry and William Saunders Crowdy. They claimed that they had received revelations in which they believed that God told them that African Americans are descendants of the Hebrews in the Christian Bible. See, once again, when you get down to a religion that promises salvation to only a select group of people, you know you're wrong. You know you're not reading the New Testament correctly. Now, if you were reading the Old Testament, I would agree with you. Yeah, the Israelites are the people of God. However, the Israelites in the Old Testament, they did not do right before God. Why? Because they were not a light to the nations. On the contrary, they shut everybody out. Everybody was a Gentile. They were all gross, filthy, unclean people. If they would have fulfilled the original promise, which was to be a light to the world and to always remain faithful to God above all, they wouldn't have had all the stuff that happened to them. But basically, these people believe that if you are an African American, you are an OG Israelite. All right. We have to have a base understanding here. And the reason why I need you guys to have a base understanding is because you won't really understand anything we talk about unless you understand this. They believe everybody in the Bible is black. They believe Adam and Eve were black. They believe Abraham was black, Noah was black. They even have some extremist views that Noah was black and God, the Nephilim that they talk about in Genesis chapter 6, that was some sort of aberrant white man. And then he was having sex with the nice, beautiful black girls of God. And they started to create these weird, like, mongoloid kids. And the reason for the flood was because the white man, the Nephilim, started having sex with the young little black girls and then having weird babies, like that café con leche baby. Like, that's not right. That's not normal. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to water down our color over here? You know? So in other words, their views go to that point. So in other words, King David was black, Solomon was black, Jesus was black, Peter, Paul, all of them were black. And basically they say that all of those pictures that we put up every year, the Jesus, the crucifixion, the icons, if you go to any Catholic church, they're all wrong. This is the big deception. This is the big lie. The big lie is that the white man, the European, has stolen the true identity of Jesus, the true Israelites, and they have replaced it. All of the Jews that are right now in Israel, Netanyahu, all of those people, those are all usurpers. They're all false. They are not true Jews. They are all going to go to hell. No, actually, I'm not sure what their view of hell is. I think they believe in hell, but you know, oh man, I can't wait to explain to them the Messianic kingdom, all of that, man. That's going to be good. That probably won't be today though, just based on this introduction. You know that we're not going to get through all this today. So Frank Cherry, he established the church. Now this is a whole mouthful. Imagine if you had to put this on a letterhead. Church of the Living God, the pillar ground of truth for all nations.
It's a long name.
.com. Like it's just a long name for a thing. But COCPGTAN. Okay, explain to them what you just did because they're not going to know what you just did.
Church of the Living God. I got rid of the, so CLG. The pillar ground of truth. I got rid of the and of, so PGT.
AN.
And then for all nations, AN.
Yeah, if you notice, all of the ones that you're talking about are uppercase.
Yeah,
so
I guess.
So you just go CLGPGTAN. But tell them why we're doing all these the letters, because they don't know why we're doing it.
What do you mean?
The groups.
Oh yeah, because they have a lot of different groups in this Hebrew Israelite movement. Already, we're gonna get to another one right now, founded by Crowdy, the Church of God and the Saints of Christ. Church of God and Saints of Christ.
Yeah, that one would be CG. See, the thing is that every one of these movements
is their own church.
Yeah. They all have the name of their church.
Yeah.
You know, but then what they do is that they use the letters. So in other words, one of the actually the biggest organization right now, it was started in 2005, and it is right now currently the biggest Black Hebrewite organization in the United States, and it's the IUIC. It is something united in Christ. I don't know what the first word is. Something united in Christ. So what they do is that they take the words of the church and they just do the letters. Another big one is the one that Captain Tazarak is from. That one is ISUPK. So that one is a big one. That one is the International School of Something Practical Knowledge. Yeah. Something practical knowledge. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, once again, weird names. But they like to make the names of their churches in acronyms or whatever, just so that you could say, oh yeah, I'm IUIC.
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh, I'm ISUPK. Oh, okay, cool, man. I don't like you. Yeah, because once again, they all hate each other. Just so you know, they all hate each other. This is like the Muslims and the Sunnis and the Shias and all of that and the Sufis. They don't like each other as organizations.
Yeah.
They look at each other like you're my brother, my fellow Hebrew Israelite, but I don't like you. It's almost like gang wars, because the IUIC, just so you guys know, maybe you guys have seen it. I don't know what you guys watch on YouTube. They wear purple and gold. That's their thing, the purple and gold. So whenever you see a black guy with this whole garb, purple and gold, that guy is IUIC. Whereas ISUPK is they kind of look like hoods. I mean, I'll be honest with you, they look like gangbangers basically. The IUIC, the purple and gold guys, they're very strict on like you shaving, on like you keeping yourself. The ISUPK, those dudes have dreadlocks. Like it's just, once again, it depends on it's a different core beliefs or different applications of what they would consider the Bible. So then so Crowdy founded the Church of God and Saints of Christ in 1896. Frank Cherry, he taught that the Talmud was authoritative and that Jesus would return in the year 2000, Y2K. I don't think it happened. Did you see Jesus that year? Oh, you weren't born yet.
No, not yet.
Oh, you weren't even born yet. So he might have come, but you don't know. Nah, he didn't come. No, nothing happened that year. Everybody thought that the computers were going to melt. Nothing happened. Everybody thought Terminator was going to come. Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to come over here and kill everybody. Nothing happened. In the year 2000, and in a square earth surrounded by 3 layers of heaven. Yes, I just said that. Frank Cherry believed he was a flat earther. Okay. The playing of the piano and the collection of tithes during Black Hebrew Israelite worship was forbidden by Cherry, who also taught the eastward direction of prayer and denigrated white Jews as interlopers. Hey, why you talk about me? You being racist over there, Cherry. I got your number, Cherry. Yeah, come over here. Come at me. Come at me. The Church of God. Now, this is the other one. The Church of God, which is Crowdy's church, originating in Kansas, retained elements of a messianic connection to Jesus. Another early key figure was William Christian. The pioneers of the movement were Freemasons, and it was strongly influenced by Masonic traditions. In the late 19th century, Cherry's and Crowdy's followers continued to propagate the claim that they were the biological descendants of the Israelites. During the following decades, many more Black Hebrew congregations were established. So you just have here these guys supposedly receiving a revelation, and that revelation says that the black man, and once again, the reason why, and we'll get to that either today or next time, it's their interpretation of Deuteronomy 28. I just said that. My mom is opening her Bible. She's going to read it. She wants to see what Deuteronomy 28 is about. The funny thing about it, this is the funny thing about it. If you open Deuteronomy 28, the first 14 verses are used by every prosperity gospel preacher in all of America. If you're a prosperity gospel preacher, you have Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14 memorized. Mm-hmm. But then from 15 all the way to the end, which is verse 68, it's all curses. Mm. If you don't stay, if you don't follow my commands, if you don't blah, 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 this is going to happen to you. That's going to happen to you. Now, there are several curses in there that could be applied to the blacks that were brought over here as slaves. But they could also be applied to a lot of other people. Not just them, which we talked about earlier, but we'll get to that later on or next time.
Okay. This next aspect is now going into the different groups that are in the Hebrew Israelite movement now. It starts off during. I could read the first bit. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, dozens of Black Hebrew organizations were established. In Harlem alone, at least 8 such groups were founded between 1919 and 1931, so right before the Depression.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. That was during the Prohibition era.
Yeah.
So you have just in Harlem alone, in those 12 years, 8 groups were formed. Just so you guys know, I'm going to mention some groups, and then these groups are kind of the main ones. But from these groups, you have a bunch of splinter groups. Mm-hmm. Just so you guys understand. Remember, they don't all operate under the same thing. There's this guy named Vocab Malone. He is a street apologist. He has dedicated his career to focusing on the Black Hebrew Israelites. So he is the guy that knows everything about the Black Hebrew Israelites. He said that he has tracked down in the United States 153, and those are the ones that he's tracked down. There could be other ones. 153 groups. Mm. So we're only going to mention like 5 of them right now. But just so you know, there's like over 150 of these groups all throughout the country. Like I said, we have one right here in Miami. There's one in Miami Gardens where this guy that we saw the video the other day, he's from Miami and he left the group. He got out of it. He was into 20 years.
Oh, wow.
He was in that cult and he got out of it. Amen to that guy. But so we're going to mention some groups, but just so you know, these are just kind of the main ones, but then there's a bunch of splinter groups from these groups, right? So the first 2 we already mentioned, the Church of the Living God, the Pillar Ground of Truth for All Nations. That was Frank Cherry's group. Mm. Then you have the Church of God and Saints of Christ. It was one of the largest organizations in America. That one was the Crowdy Church. Then you have the Commandment Keepers. They were founded by Wentworth Arthur Miller. These people were more of the traditional Jews.
Okay.
These, just so you guys know, there's kind of 4 main camps, I guess if you want to call it. There's groups that only read the Torah. Mm-hmm. In other words, the first 5 books of the Bible. That's all they read. And then there's groups that read the entire Old Testament, that they are Tanakh only. They're Old Testament only. Then you have people, those are the people that are more Jewy. And then you got the majority really of them they believe in the New Testament, but a lot of them, they reject the Paul letters for some reason. They don't like Paul's letters.
Okay.
Because Paul's letter, he talks too much about being nice to your slaves. He doesn't like that, So, and then another very important thing is all of them, they only read from the 1611 King James Bible, the original King James Bible with the 7 apocryphal books. Very important. That's kind of key there. And the reason why is because they love to quote verses from the apocryphal books. And then, of course, if you're talking to a Christian, the guy's going to be like, I don't even know that verse. Like, I've never read that. That's not my deal. Oh, man, you got the wrong Bible then. You got to go back. You know why we believe the 1611 version is the right word of God?
What?
Because we believe that King James, the King of England, Scotland, and Ireland, we believe he was black. Excuse me, sir? Can you just repeat what you just said? We believe that the king in the 16th century in England, Ireland, and Scotland was black. That's actually perfect soundbite for that. Yeah. I'm not lying to you guys. I'm being 100% serious. They believe that King James, probably the whitest guy ever, is black. And the reason why is because they found one photo of him where his hair looks like he has like almost like a little afro, like almost like a cute little Muhammad Ali type fro. And they say, oh, he had to be black. I'm like, do you know what the racial tensions were in England in the 15 and 1600s? You think they're just going to let a black guy ascend to the throne? But in other words, if he was black, that means his mother or father must have been black, and then his mother or father must have been black. So then now we're going to go back to the first king of England, and they were all black. Okay, like, where did you find that from? No, man, my teacher told me. What teacher? The teacher at ISUPK. I'm ISUPK. That's right. So what? You're IUIC. That's why you don't believe this. We believe it. We know. We got the truth. You got me? We got the truth. I'm ISUPK. Liar! All right, so the commandment keepers. See, I went off on a tangent there. Okay, so basically you have groups that are only read the first 5 books of the Bible. Then you got groups that only read the Old Testament. Those are the minority, really. And then you have the ones that will read the New Testament. And then you got some groups that just don't like the Pauline letters. You know, they kind of reject those. So that's basically the different types of people that we're working here. Another group, which we're going to talk about these groups in detail. I'm just giving you the headline. The African Hebrew Israelites in Israel. They're widely known for having moved from the United States to Israel. We're going to talk about, that's the ones that I told you about earlier. Yeah, they were like, you know what? We're going to go reclaim our land. And they literally moved to Israel. Well, we'll talk about that after. Then you have the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, ISUPK. That's Captain Tazariak. What a cap! You know why they call him Captain?
Why?
Because in this school, it's like military.
Oh, really?
Like when you go in there, you're a soldier, you're a grunt.
Yeah.
But then once you've been there for a little while, now you're a private, and then you're this and that. Captain is called Captain Tazariak because he's a captain. Like I guess his next thing will be what, Colonel?
Yeah, and
I don't know.
General.
Yeah,
whatever.
Because the leader is like General, right?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So stupid. And they love guns.
Oh, really?
Man, they're like black rednecks. Like, I don't know how to say it. they love going to the gun range and shooting and stuff, you know? I don't know. They're just weird. And then the last one that we're going to talk about is the Nation of Yahweh. That one's based here in Miami. And they were a little bit more of the radical group, you know? I mean, they would probably go out there to Bayside and start, you know, throwing stuff around. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the first one we talked a little bit about before, Frank Cherry. He was from the Deep South and worked as a seaman and for the railroads before his ministry. He taught himself Hebrew and Yiddish. Theologically, the Church of the Living God mixed elements of Judaism and Christianity, counting the Christian Bible, including the New Testament and the Talmud. See, that's important because a lot of these other camps, they don't care about the Talmud. Like, for instance, ISUPK, they don't care about the Talmud. For them, that's like nothing. The rituals of Cherry's congregation incorporated many Jewish practices and prohibitions alongside some Christian traditions. For example, during prayer, men wore skull caps and congregants faced east, so towards Jerusalem. In addition, members of the church were not permitted to eat pork. As far as what I've read, all Hebrew Israelites don't eat pork.
Oh, okay.
None of them get down with the swine, you know. So of course they misinterpret Paul and Peter's vision and Paul's letters, but it's fine. Prayers were accompanied by musical instruments and gospel singing. It's like what Vocab Malone said. Some of these groups, you walk in there, you think there's a Christian church. Like you literally, the only thing that differentiates them is that all of them wear the Star of David.
Oh, okay.
Like every single black Hebrew Israelite has like a patch or what of the Star of David. That's like their thing. So that's how you could the common person would probably spot some of these people. If you see a dude just walking around with the Star of David on his chest or whatever, chances are that guy's a Hebrew Israelite, you know? Just because normal people don't do that. Jews don't even do that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, most people like don't wear stuff of like the country they're from unless you're Puerto Rican. Puerto Ricans are the only people in the world that love to wear Puerto Rican hats. They put every single Puerto Rican I know has in their rear view mirror the little Puerto Rican flag hanging there. Every single Puerto Rican I know has that, except no, because I don't let you have that. Yeah, of course not. Yeah, the producer's like, not me. You don't even drive anymore. But yeah, generally Jews don't go announcing they're Jews.
Yeah.
Except for the yarmulke, or unless you're this guy, which you can't help but stand out in the crowd. I mean, you walk around with that beard and those sideburns and that hat. I mean, it's guaranteed everyone knows what you are, you know? So yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah.
What's the next one here?
Next is the Church of God and Saints of Christ, which is the one founded by Crowdy, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, in 1936, the Church of God and Saints of Christ had more than 200 tabernacles. Get that?
Oh, wow.
And 37,000 members. So in other words, this guy started, and within less than 40 years, he basically grew that church to have 200 buildings out there. As of 2005, the church only had 50 tabernacles in the United States and a couple dozen in Africa. The church teaches that all Jews were originally black and that African Americans, oh, you're going to love this one, are the descendants of the 10 lost tribes of northern Israel. Actually Israel, the north.
Yeah.
If you guys know your Bible, the Assyrians in year 722 came in and defeated all of the northern tribes, destroyed them. These people, they believe that they are the descendants, that they are the lost tribes. So like somehow they went from, you know, northern Israel being scattered around, being destroyed, being killed, taken back to Assyria, which is basically northern Iraq, and somehow they made it to Memphis. No, we're them. That's us.
5 minutes later.
But the reason I note that is because this group believes this, but then you'll have other groups like this one, which is ISUPK. We're going to talk about them in a second. They believe something way different. Mm-hmm. Members believe that Jesus was neither God nor the Son of God, but rather an adherent of Judaism and a prophet. So basically, they look at it the way the Muslims look at Jesus. Just a prophet, you know.
He wasn't an adherent of Judaism. He never sinned. And he followed the law and he read all the scripture.
Yeah. They just don't believe he's God or the Son of God. So in other words, this is where I tell you that they take that Jehovah's Witnessy and Seventh-day Adventisty type area. They also consider William Saunders Crowdy, their founder, to be a prophet. Of course, he is. Every single false religion and movement starts out with some sort of a prophet. The Church of God and Saints of Christ synthesizes rituals from both normative Judaism and Christianity. They've adopted rites drawn from both the Old and New Testaments. Its Old Testament observances include the use of the Hebrew calendar, the celebration of Passover or Pesach, the circumcision of infant males, the commemoration of the Sabbath on Saturday, and the wearing of yarmulkes. All right, so they wear those. The New Testament rites that they include is baptism by immersion and foot washing, both of which have Old Testament origins. So that's basically some of their simple beliefs. Remember, each one of these groups has their own flavor.
Yeah.
They all have their own secret sauce. And the secret sauce of these people is, you know, that they do the Old and the New Testament, but they also believe in the whole baptism piece and foot washing and all of that. So
next one now is the commandment keepers, which are the ones that we start going down a rabbit hole that they're more Jewish. They practice.
Yeah. These are the these guys are this guy, but with blackface, you know, or like black. You know, I can't say blackface, black. Like, yeah, because I don't think they. Do you think they purposely, like, because Captain the Tazrak is pretty white.
Is
Like
he really?
he's light
Yeah, I
skinned.
guess, yeah.
I mean, he walks around the street. You might think he's Puerto Rican. Like he doesn't. You wouldn't think, oh, that's a black guy.
Yeah.
Until he starts talking, and then you're like, 100% black. Yeah. All right, these are the commandment keepers. In 1919, this dude named Wentworth Arthur Matthew, he was an immigrant from St. Kitts. Do you know what that is? It's an island.
Oh, okay.
You don't know St. Kitts? The cruises and stuff go over there. It's like around there, like keep going after Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Like those little
Okay.
baby islands that nobody like English people have their holiday at.
Have you been to St. Kitts?
No, I've never been to St. Kitts. I've never gone holiday at St. Kitts. Yeah. That's why they call us Beavis and Butthead. He founded, this guy, this immigrant from St. Kitts, he founded a black Hebrew Israelite congregation in Harlem, called it the Commandment Keepers of the Living God. In 1930, so this is in 1919, in 1930, he established the Ethiopian Hebrew Rabbinical College, and they later named it the Israelite Rabbinical Academy in Brooklyn. He ordained more than 20 rabbis who went on to lead congregations throughout the United States and the Caribbean. So this guy was taught other people, and then they went and spread these falsehoods all around the Caribbean. This guy Matthew died in 1973, and there was a conflict about who's going to take over. Before he died, he basically named his grandson to be the heir, but the problem is the kid was only 16 years old. So the kid's name was David Matthew Dore as the new spiritual leader. But in 1975, 2 years later, the board of the church, they elected another dude named Willie White as the leader. So even though the original guy named his grandkid to be the leader, the board was like, look, this guy's too young. He's a jit. You know, let's put somebody that's seasoned. So then they put him in there. Now, this Dore guy would still come and he would conduct services and all of that. But it got to a point that they had to lock him out. They literally locked him out of the building. They're like, Lude, I don't know how else to tell you. You are not welcome here. So membership began to decline throughout the 90s. And by 2004, there were just a few dozen people left in the congregation. Matthew was influenced by the non-black Jews he met, as well as by Marcus Garvey. He's the famous Jamaican pro-black rights guy. And the Universal Negro Improvement Association of African Communities League. Garvey used the biblical Jews in exile as a metaphor for black people in North America. When Matthew later learned about the Beta Israel, which were Ethiopian Jews, which when we went to Israel, we saw them everywhere in Jerusalem. You know, we're like, man, why are there black people here? Like, I didn't know it was a thing. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, look, bro. Okay, let me not say that because it might be construed as racist. This guy Matthew identified with these Ethiopian Jews.
Yeah.
Teaching that the commandment keepers were descendants, guess what? Because they had to have come from somewhere. So he taught, now remember, some of the other guys say that everybody's black. Jesus black, David's black, all of them. This guy, he taught that Solomon and the Queen of Sheba hooked up.
Okay.
And they had kids. And that line of kids is what he taught they were from. See, once again, they all have their own little spin on it, you know. He taught that the black man is a Jew and all genuine Jews are black men, but he valued non-black Jews and all those who had preserved Judaism over the centuries. So in other words, he wasn't like, you know, you the devil. Why you call me devil? I'm Moshe. And then, you know, he's like, no. He doesn't call the white man devil. He's actually like, you know what? Thank you for keeping it alive. Thank you for keeping it going. Even though you were in Russia, you were in all these other countries. But yeah, we'll take it back. like now it's time to give it back to us because we're the real guys. I mean, didn't you know that? Didn't you hear that Queen of Sheba, Solomon hooked up? They had a whole line of children, and like that's us. That's me. Okay. Today, the commandment keepers follow traditional Jewish practices and observe Jewish holidays. Members observe kashrut, circumcise newborn boys, and celebrate the bar and bat mitzvahs. And their synagogue has a mekitzah to separate women and men during worship. So a curtain. So when they worship, separate, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, no, this next group is the one that we were talking about.
Yeah. This next one is the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem, which we were talking is these are the guys that immigrated to Israel.
These are the fools.
They tried to get into Jerusalem. I guess we'll see now that they ultimately failed. But
what is the failure sound?
which one?
Like
Oh, this one. There's a little bit of a
delay on that one. Yeah. These guys, they actually thought that they could go into Israel and say, hey, we are the original Israelites and we demand land. Not gonna happen, bro. Netanyahu ain't giving you nothing, bro. You better get in line, you know? All right, let's talk about these dudes. Ben Ami Ben Israel established the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem in Chicago in 1966, a time when black nationalism was on the rise and as a response to the civil rights movement. So once again, this is the time where, you know, the 60s were nutty for black people. I mean, that was just like, there was rioting, there was Martin Luther King, there's Malcolm X, there's all of this going on in the 60s. In 1969, he went on vacation in Liberia. Him and around after that, he and about 30 other people moved to Israel. Over the next 20 years, 600 more members left the United States for Israel. As of 2006, there's about 2,500 of these people living in Dimona, which is in the Negev, in the desert, where they are widely referred to as the Black Hebrews. Yeah, like if you're walking around, Tel Aviv, you know, like, oh yeah, are you Hebrew? Yeah. What about them? No, those are the Black Hebrews. That's them, you know. Okay, so basically, this is a group that felt like, in order to do things right, they needed to move back to their motherland, which is hilarious because they were taken from Africa, but they want to go to Israel because they're Jews, but they were taken from Senegal or from wherever, you know, Nigeria. Okay. The Black Hebrews believe they are descended from members of the tribe of Judah. That's the same thing that the ISUPK believes. Who were exiled from the land of Israel after the Romans destroyed the Second Temple in the year 70. The group incorporates elements of African American culture into their interpretation of the Bible. They do not recognize rabbinical Jewish interpretations such as the Talmud. The Black Hebrews observe Shabbat and biblically ordained Jewish holidays such as Yom Kippur and Passover. Men wear the tzitzit on their African print shirts. Women follow the Nida, which is the biblical laws about menstruation. And newborn boys are circumcised. In accordance with their interpretation of the Bible, the Black Hebrews follow a strictly vegan diet and only wear natural fabrics. Most men have more than one wife, and birth control is not permitted. So, okay, so they're vegans, but they also believe in polygamy.
yeah,
They're polygamous vegans.
like Mormons mixed with the Adventists.
Exactly, yeah, because the Adventists are like vegan, like vegetarian, you know? That's what I'm saying. All of these things, they have smells of it, you know? But it's funny, they interpret the Bible as being vegan.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, literally after the flood, God told Noah, hey, bro, go get that ribeye. Go get them chicken wings, man. It's all good. You could eat it up.
And then the 40 years in the desert, they were crying for meat, the
Quail.
Jews.
Yeah. They're like, man, Lord, thank you for this bread, but give us some meat. I want meat. When the first Black Hebrews arrived in Israel in 1969, they claimed, get this, citizenship under the law of return. Because at that point, Israel had implemented this law where if you wanted to come back, remember, they regained their land in 1948.
Yeah.
If you wanted to come back from any country, any European country, you were automatically given citizenship. You're like, boom, that's it. We process you the same day. You're good. So then these black dudes from Chicago show up and they're like, yo, me wants my citizenship. And they're like, sir, can you tell us how you're a Hebrew? We're black Hebrew. We're the OG. We're the first ones. Y'all stole our land. We want it back. But sir, can you show us proof of this? No. Sir, do you have any sort of bloodlines that would prove this? No. Sir, do you have any archaeological evidence to support this claim? No. Do you have anything in order for us to maybe perform some sort of look into your situation? No. Give me my citizenship right now. I'm black and I'm Hebrew. I'm the OG. Give me my land. Actually, you know what? I'm taking your job. All right. The Israeli government ruled in 1973 that the group did not qualify for automatic citizenship because they could not prove Jewish descent and had not undergone Orthodox conversion. The black Hebrews were denied work permits and state benefits. So they're basically like the undocumented people, like here in America.
Just squatting though.
Yeah. I wonder if the Jews had like ICE back then, and like if the president was ICE to, hey, go look for those black Hebrews. Yeah, we got to get rid of them, you know?
Well, it said they were deporting people somewhere in here.
Yeah. The black Hebrew, okay, they were denied work permits and state benefits. The group accused the Israeli government of racist discrimination. Dude, you just show up in our country and you expect us to just give you everything. Like, you know, I mean, it isn't because you're black. It's just because you're not Jewish. That's really what it's all about. In 1981, a group of American civil rights activists led by Bayard Rustin investigated and concluded that racism was not the cause of the black Hebrew situation. So a civil rights activist, he investigated and said, no, bro, they're not being racist. They just don't believe that you're Hebrews, that you're Jews. Some black Hebrews, get this, renounced their American citizenship in order to try to prevent more deportations. So in other words, if they renounce their American citizenship, then they can't be sent to America because they're not citizens of America anymore. In 1990, Illinois legislators helped negotiate an agreement that resolved the black Hebrews' legal status in Israel. Can you imagine legislators in Illinois having to deal with the people all the way over there? Like, couldn't they get some advocate closer to them? And technically, if you're renouncing your citizenship, why are you asking the dude from Illinois for help? Like, it's just... But of course, since this group is from Chicago, and then the group, I'm sure not everybody left over there. In 2003, the agreement was revised and the black Hebrews were granted permanent residency. It only took 40 years to get this, but they got it. You know what? That was their time in the desert.
Yeah.
That was their time in the desert. They were eating manna, the scraps off the table of the white Jew, false interloper. But they finally made it. They finally got to the point where they had status. They're residents now. In 2009, Eliakim Ben Israel became the first black Hebrew to gain citizenship. Ooh, nice. Today, the young men and some women from the African Hebrew community of Jerusalem serve in the IDF. That's their military. They have entered international sports events and academic competitions under the Israeli flag, and have represented Israel twice in the Eurovision Song Contest. I don't know why that was important to note. Yeah, what is that, like America's Got Talent or something from Europe? Okay. In other words, the point is that they're becoming part of society.
Yeah.
It's no longer them in the Negev, like those people in the Negev. Now they're serving in the military. They're even part of events. You know, obviously, if I'm Israel, I'm gonna want to put a couple of these guys on the basketball team. I mean, the Israeli basketball team's pretty good. But I'm not gonna lie, if we could find a couple gems from amongst the community in the Negev, let's throw him in. So
Next now is the One West camp and some of the other splinter groups that came out of this movement.
this is by far the biggest camp right now in existence. Just so you know, this One West and all the splinter groups. All of the groups that I mentioned before, the ISUPK, the IUIC, all of those come from the One West camp. They're all branches from the one tree, you know? The One West camp is a messianic subdivision of black Hebrew Israelite groups that believe in the Old Testament, the New Testament, and exclusive identification of the 12 tribes of Israel with ethnic communities of black, Latin America, and Native American descent in the Americas. So now is when we get to talk about this chart. This chart right here is what they believe. They believe that the American Negro, the black man in America, they are the tribe of Judah. From them, the Messiah will come. They hold the scepter. They are the head guys in charge. They're the ones that run things, right? They believe that the West Indians, the West Indies, you know, all of those countries with like Trinidad, Tobago, all of those countries, they believe they are the tribe of Benjamin. Makes perfect sense.
Sure.
They believe the Dominicans, the Dominicans, Santo Domingo, they are the tribe of Simeon. Okay. They believe that Guatemalans and Panamanians are the tribe of Zebulon. Zabulon. They believe that Puerto Ricans, ay bendito, ay bendito, ¿yo soy de qué? ¿De qué tribu soy yo? Dime qué tribu. Ephraim. So all those Puerto Ricans in New York rocking them flags on the Puerto Rican Day Parade, they're all from the tribe of Ephraim. Cubans. Los cubanos, hacer, que volá. Cuban, oye, ¿de qué tribu yo soy? ¿De qué tribu yo soy? The Cubans are the tribe of Manasseh. Okay. The North American Indians, so these are like the Seminoles and all of them, the Miccosukee. They are the tribe of Gad. The North American Indians. Now the Seminole Indians are the tribe of Reuben. The Brazilians and the Colombians are the tribe of Asher. Actually, you know what? I think this one is different than this one. Oh, because here doesn't have Levi. Okay, that's why. That's why I got confused. All right. The Brazilian and Colombians are Asher. The Argentinians and Lo Chileno, Pastor Jara, he is Naphtali. And the Mexicans are Issachar. So this was the debate with your mother she was having, because she was like kind of scared because I showed her one video where you actually see like a service that the black Hebrew Israelites have, like an actual church service, and then them on the street. And then she kept saying, or do you want me to pray back?
That's fine.
Yeah, she kept saying like, if I go there, are they gonna kill me? And I'm like, no, you're Ephraim. You are a black Hebrew Israelite. Like, in other words, we are Israelites.
Yeah.
Like you're actually part of two tribes. You're Ephraim and Manasseh. You get to rock two shields, two coat of arms. You know, I only get to rock Manasseh.
Yeah.
But in other words, we're cool. Like, I can go up to Captain Tazright. What's up, brother? What's up, my bro? And he can't say, nah, get away from me, devil. He can't say, nah, you white boy. Like, no, I'm Cuban. Ah, bro, you my bro. What's up, man? Let's kick it. In other words, they exclude strictly the white man. The white man is the devil for them. Now, have you noticed that I didn't mention the tribe of Levi? Because it's not listed for some reason on this chart, but just so it is on this chart though. The tribe of Levi is, guess who?
I don't remember.
Kevin.
Oh, Haitians?
Haitians. Haitian. That's right, baby. All of our priesthood is from Port-au-Prince. Port-au-Prince holds our priesthood. So the Levites are the Haitians. Just so you guys know, it's on this list over here.
What if there's no Jamaicans on this list?
No, they don't like Jamaicans.
Really?
For some reason, they don't get down with Jamaicans. I don't know. I don't know if it's the Rastafari thing. I don't know why, but I think they don't believe that Jamaicans are part of this. I think it's because of the colonization. I couldn't get it out there of the British Empire. I don't know why, but you would think why. I mean, you could have at least hooked up. Like maybe you could have done the Levites. It could have been the Haitians and Jamaicans, but no, they didn't. They don't get down with the Jamaicans. I don't know why. And I only know that because I saw one debate with Captain Tazrak, and somebody called in and he was a Jamaican, and then the host said, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Oh, Jamaica, man, Kingston." And then the host asked the guy, like, "Is this guy cool?" And all three of them said no at the same time. So I was like, oh, I guess there's some. I haven't read anything, but I don't think they get down with Jamaicans.
Okay.
So, getting back to the One West movement and then all the other things. The camp is named after its first grouping, this One West, which was located at 1 West 125th Street in Harlem. I guess kind of witty, huh? They didn't really have to think too much about the name of their organization.
Really, no.
Yeah, it's just, what's the address here? Okay, let's call it that. 1 West 125th Street. Yeah, let's call it 1 West. Sounds good. Then known as the Israeli School of Universal Practical Knowledge, ISUPK, the movement has since splintered into numerous camps, including the Israeli Church of God in Jesus Christ and the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Other notable groups descended from the One West camp include the Gathering of Christ Church, the Mashara Yasharala, and the Israel United in Christ. That's the IUIC. That's the IUIC, basically the biggest one. That's the Purple Gang people. So from this One West in Harlem, you now have a whole bunch of splinter groups. And really the One West splinter groups are the majority of the Black Hebrew Israelites that are out there today. So
now this next bit is the extremist fringe.
Exactly. Just like in everything else, in every other religion, you're always going to have the extremists.
Yeah. Ones that take it too far.
Of course, here in America, we are a Christian nation. Considered a Christian nation. Let me say it more that way, even though most of the people are secular in this country. But when I tell you, what do you think about Islam? As an American, as an American, the first thing you think of are those buildings falling on 9/11. That's why when we went to the youth fair the other day, and I went up to the Muslims' table, I think I was the only guy to actually approach them the entire day. Because ain't nobody gonna stop and hook me up with that pamphlet on how Muslims treat women. You know, everybody has a bias against them. You know, unless you're a Muslim and you go up to them, you kick it with them, you chat. But because even when I grabbed the Quran, the free Quran, the dude that was in front, he gave me like a look, like, why are you grabbing that? Like, you know, we just have a negative bias towards them here in America. Because of in other words, we have that because of one group of fringe element, radical Osama bin Laden idiots, you know, when in reality you have 2 billion Muslims in the world, and out of the 2 billion, you're probably maybe looking at half of 1/10 of 1% that are extremists. The rest of them are perfectly great people. I've mentioned this guy a million times, Abu Layla. He's the most beautiful, awesome person I've ever encountered on an international trip.
Yeah.
When we went to Jerusalem, and to this day, I will never say anything negative about the guy. I love the guy. He's a Muslim, and he prays 5 times a day, and he does his fasting, and he does all of that. Okay, but as a person, I can't ask for a more beautiful guy than that guy. You know, but then what brings down the religion are these extreme guys.
Yeah.
Just like in everything else. So within the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, there are the extreme guys as well. They just take it a little bit too far. In late 2008, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the SPLC, wrote that the extremist fringe of the Hebrew Israelite movement has a black supremacist outlook. Those are the ones that stand up, and which I'll be honest with you, ISUPK falls into that camp, because they were literally standing up there and they were calling white people the devil. They were like, "You're the devil." It wrote that the members of such groups believe that Jews are the devilish imposters. Ooh. Wait, you called me devil again? Why?
The devil is a liar.
Yeah. You're the devil, you're a liar. So in other words, these guys are the devils and they're imposters. They openly condemn whites as evil personified. Once again, this is where your mom, I think, was having problems with it. Even though, like, she's white, she's like really, she's so white, she's red, or pink. She's pink, really, but she's Puerto Rican. But then she asked me, "But wait, would they accept me just because I'm Puerto Rican? Because obviously there's no black pigmentation in any of my family." Well, her mother's a little bit dark, but she obviously took more after Cucho. She obviously is from Spain. Her blood, her family runs deep in Spain. Would they accept her? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Like for instance, I don't know if Captain Tazariak would accept me, even though I'm Cuban. But then again, I'm white. But I'm Cuban.
Yeah.
But then he'll say, yeah, but you obviously don't have any black in your family. Like you're obviously not like the type of Cubans that we want. We want like black Cubans. Like the ones that like we met up with over there in Havana that one time that took us for the things. So anyway, but then again, I don't really know. They say that whites are evil personified, deserving only death or slavery. The SPLC wrote that most Hebrew Israelites are neither explicitly racist nor anti-Semitic and do not advocate violence. So in other words, most of them.
Yeah.
You just have these fringe elements. As of December 2019, the SPLC lists 144 Hebrew Israelite organizations as black separatist hate groups because of their anti-Semitic and anti-white beliefs. So they actually named 144 organizations that they are literally separatists. They don't want nothing to do with white man. They don't want, you know what, you segregated, now we segregate. Guess what? We're flipping it because this is our time. That's right. We are the real Hebrews. We are the tribe of Judah. The Messiah is coming for us, baby. Not for you. You know what? Oh, man, you know what happens to him? In the Messianic kingdom?
What?
I'll say it next time.
Okay.
The groups the SPLC has categorized as black supremacist hate groups include the ISUPK, which is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, that is Captain Tazariak's school, and the Nation of Yahweh. Those are the ones that are here in Miami.
Yeah.
The Anti-Defamation League has also described several extremist BHI sects, Black Hebrew Israelite sects, as hate groups, including the House of Israel, the Israelite Saints of Christ, the True Nation Israelite Congregation, and the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ. The Anti-Defamation League summarized some of the commonly used Black Hebrew Israelite terms. They say, for instance, they say Jewish.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh, you are Jew-ish. It's a negative term depicting Jews as imposters. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Stop bothering me. They also call them so-called Jews. Yeah, you guys are so-called Jews, casting doubt on the Jewish identity of mainstream Jews. So in other words, Netanyahu is a so-called Jew.
Yeah.
They also they love using this term, the synagogue of Satan. Open up Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. And read it out loud. And then after, read chapter 3, verse 9. Revelation 2:9.
I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the blasphemy by those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan.
And read 3:9.
Behold, I will cause those of the synagogue of Satan, who say that they are Jews and are not, but lie, I will make them come and bow down at your feet, and make them know that I have loved you.
They believe those two verses are about the Jews that are imposters today. They are rich, whatever, but then they are poor, and they are the synagogue of Satan. They literally, their interpretation of those two verses are the modern day Jews today.
Yeah.
And their false religion and all of their temples and all of that. Man, it's really coming down. It's raining hard.
Is that the rain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing. Some sects of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement employ street preaching to promote their ideology. Sidewalk ministers may employ provocation to advance a message that is often anti-Semitic, racist, and xenophobic. And I actually saw this in those videos that I had mentioned.
This last bit, now we got through all the groups. The extremist fringe was the last thing they wanted to talk about in this document. So now is the attacks done by some of these extremist groups in the Hebrew Israelite movement.
Yeah. I mean, there's several attacks but the most notable one would be the mother of Martin Luther King. Her name was Alberta Williams King. She was the mother of Martin Luther King. She was shot and killed on June 30th, 1974 at the age of 69 by Marcus Wayne Chenault. He was a 23-year-old black man from Ohio who had adopted the theology of Black Hebrew Israelite preacher Hananiah Israel of Cincinnati. The mentor, this guy's mentor, castigated black civil rights activists and black church leaders as being evil and deceptive. And I've heard Captain Tazarite mention that too. He says that the worst thing to happen to black people was Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Really?
Yeah. Like they have a very low view of these people. Chenault did not draw any such distinction and first decided to assassinate Reverend Jesse Jackson in Chicago, but canceled the plan at the last minute. So in other words, he originally wanted to kill Jesse Jackson, but then after he ended up going and killing the mother of Martin Luther King, all because he had this ideology fed into him by a guy that was supposed to be his teacher, his mentor, and all he was teaching him to hate.
Yeah.
And really, if you watch that one episode that we saw, it's all hate. It is 100% hate. That's all they teach you. Hate the white man, hate this, hate to that. When Jesus was very clear to turn the cheek, you turn the cheek. But they just want, you know what? For 400 years, they were subjugated, they were enslaved, and now they feel like it's their time to stand up. They feel like the Messiah is going to come. The Messiah is going to kill all white men, and it's just going to be the glory day of black man. The black man will return to his glory day when they were the kings in Israel. Well, remember, they're from Judah.
Yeah.
When their ancestor David, who was black, and Solomon, who built the temple, they are going to return to their glory when the Messiah comes. It will be the black man and the black man alone that will be saved. All white men, everybody that's not of these groups here, they're all considered Gentiles. So everybody, basically everybody in Europe and Asia, because obviously none of those countries are listed here. So everybody in China, Japan, Korea, Russia, they're all not gonna be saved. Only people that could be saved is if you're on this list.
Yeah.
And that's obviously not what Jesus Christ taught us in the New Testament. So
It also just doesn't make sense theologically or logically in a way that you have a God that loves you, that wants people to be saved, but then only these specific people can be saved.
exactly. I mean, look, you can even talk about the Islam, like, oh, that it came in Arabic and you have to pray to Allah in Arabic, but it is a universal religion.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're not saying that only Arabs could be saved.
You just need to do it in their
You
language.
just need it, which is stupid, but all right, fine. It's almost like, oh, Allah knows all, but he only knows Arabic. It's like, why would a God that is omniscient, is all knowing, require you to only pray to him in one specific language. Even that's a crux for me when I if I would ever debate a Muslim. Just give me the logic behind that, you know. And of course they would probably answer with, well, do you know Aramaic? I'm like, no. Well, Jesus talked Aramaic. So what did that do with me? Why was the Bible in Greek if Jesus spoke Aramaic? There's something wrong with that. Well, because that was the common tongue amongst the world. We're not just talking about, these guys wrote these books to go all throughout the known world. And all throughout the world, what everybody spoke was Greek. Just in the tiny little area of Israel, they spoke Aramaic and Hebrew. But guess what? That little tiny grain of sand compared to the whole known world, everybody else was talking Greek. But, you know, people are stupid.
Yeah.
I started making arguments with them, and what are you going to do?
This last bit, I guess, for today, we're at an hour 15, by the way.
Okay. No, we're done with this.
Yeah. I think next week we'll be going more into the specific views of some of these movements.
And what they teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for today, we want to talk about, we mentioned this earlier, they have these weird views where they want to say that some people were actually black. So what they say is Fran Markowitz, a professor of cultural anthropology at the Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, which I'm assuming that's like the people that went to the Negev, right? That went to Israel?
Yeah, and Ben Gurion was one of their presidents. The airport is Ben Gurion International Airport. Yeah.
Okay. He writes that the Hebrew Israelite view of the transatlantic slave trade conflicts with historical accounts, as does the Hebrew Israelite belief that Socrates, William Shakespeare, and in addition King James were all black.
Can you believe that? They actually believe Socrates, the most Greek guy ever, was black, and Shakespeare. Oh yeah. Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? Is really more like, Romeo, where you at, boy?
This doesn't make any sense.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Shakespeare is black. Man, who even comes up with Shakespeare is black? Like, if you want to say Socrates, because maybe, I don't know, maybe he was outside and he got a tan a lot. Shakespeare is a writer. He's not outside.
No.
It's just, once again, they're rewriting history. And the sad part about it is that people believe it. They got a whole bunch of people believing it. And one thing that Vocab Malone did say, and I'm going to end it with this. He said right now, by the numbers, not, obviously when you say numbers, you're talking about percentage points here. Obviously their group is smaller compared to, like, let's say Mormonism or Catholicism or whatever. But per capita, I guess if that's the way to say it, this is the fastest growing religion in America right now. Just so you know, Black Hebrew Israelites is the fastest growing religion per capita in the United States. Obviously the Mormons are going to have more converts because there's more of them and they all have babies, and then those babies become Mormons. And then they send out the two kids. But in terms of like, in terms of per capita scale wise, this is the fastest growing religion in America right now. So in other words, it's something that we got to be aware of.
Yeah, of course.
We got to be aware of it. We got to know what they teach. We got to know what they preach, and we got to know how to combat it. And we have to combat it with scripture, because just so you know, these guys, they know their scriptures.
Yeah.
They know their scriptures. The problem is that they interpret their scriptures incorrectly. And we just need to give them the truth of Christ, the truth that salvation is for all. You know, it doesn't say for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son so that the Black Hebrew Israelites could be saved. It's so that everyone who believes in him, white, black, yellow, brown, Chinese, Korean, Russian, South American, North American, Jamaican, all can be saved if you believe in the Son and Jesus Christ, and you repent of your sins and you live for him. That is what the New Testament model of salvation is. The Old Testament model of salvation is basically what they're preaching. We, the real Israelites, this guy Moshe stole it from us. The real Israelites are us black people because of our interpretation of Deuteronomy chapter 28, which we're going to get to next time. But the true salvation is for all those who believe in the Son. On this side of the cross, it is for all those who believe in the Son and Jesus Christ. That's what I have.
The devil is a liar.
That is right, Gino. My boy Gino Jennings. Heretic, but I love you anyway, bro, because you got good clips. He has good clips.
All right.
Liar! Liar!
He's very open about there being not a Trinity.
Okay. Look, if I go up to you and I say, Danny, what do you think? Is King James black?
Liar!
You know that Shakespeare was black?
Liar!
You know that Socrates was black?
Liar!
You know that Jesus was black?
Liar!
You know that Moses was black?
Liar!
Abraham was black.
Liar!
Adam was black.
Liar!
God is black. Oh, no, I don't think they go that far. They don't go that far.
Oh, I know I could say that.
Well, yeah, NOI, because they believe that God is
Yeah.
a man. Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll be finishing up the Hebrew Israelites.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a good week. I'll see you later on. We'll go eat a knish.